The Northman has been one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I loved the director Robert Eggers' film The Witch, and I absolutely loved his previous movie The Lighthouse. And Robert maintains his track record with his latest venture into the cinematic landscape with his new masterpiece, The Northman. It just feels really great to finally watch a movie that you've been waiting for and it delivers. Our protagonist is Amlet, a prince who witnesses his father's murder by his uncle and is forced to run away from his kingdom. He swears to avenge his father, save his mother, and kill his uncle Fjolnir. Cut to 20 years later, and we find Amlet as a Viking who is reminded of his mission and then journeys to fulfill it. It certainly has quite a few similarities to The Lion King, but there are also a few differences. Amlet works as a protagonist mainly because he has a clear personal goal to kill his uncle, and that drives the external plot forward. And even his motivations make sense. The opening of the movie allows us to spend enough time with Amlet and his family to get us to care for him. And so it makes sense why this boy would be so traumatized as to assign his life mission to get revenge. Another reason for what makes him an engaging protagonist is his determination. Amlet is a man who is willing to go to great lengths to achieve what he wants. It shows us how much this mission matters to him, as well as it keeps the momentum of the plot ongoing. This is a man who's going to stop at nothing. He will eliminate anything and everything that comes between him and his mission. But after Amlet fled his kingdom, he became a recluse. He had bonds and relationships with people earlier, but after his life became all about the mission of revenge, the little humanity within him died as well. He's a strong beast who kills without much thought or mercy. This is until he meets Olga, and under the circumstances, it leads them to develop feelings for each other. But the Northman doesn't lead into the sentimental. Both Amlet and Olga work together in the smallest of ways so that Amlet can finish his mission and Olga can flee her captivity. Now, when watching the film, I couldn't help but notice parallels to one of the best Hindi films, Gangs of Wasipur. Both films are Shakespearean like tragedies where the sons devote their life to avenging their father's deaths, and the bloodline gets stuck in the cyclical nature of violence. Even the plot point where the antagonist henchman lies about killing the boy is shown in both films. The Northman is a revenge drama, but what makes it stand out from its generic template is how it's subverted. Amlet plans to rescue his mother and kill his uncle Fjolnir, but when he confronts his mother, he learns that she's actually happy where she is and she wanted Amlet's father to get killed. This completely shakes his worldview. His goal isn't as simple anymore. He can't just get what he wants and walk away with no consequences. His mother is no longer on his side, or to better phrase it, she was never in his side in the first place. And despite this affecting Amlet, it does not stop his determination. Now, before we get to the third act, I wanted to talk about the masterful filmmaking of this movie. The sheer talent and craftsmanship that went into making this magnificent film is impeccable. The actors are in real locations, getting entrenched in mud and dirt. The film has this grimy and filthy look to it. The action and violence is visceral and brutal, and sometimes it limits itself to allow us, the audience, to fill in the rest for ourselves, which itself can be more disturbing. The camera accounts for most of the visual storytelling here. There are many meticulously composed shots where one person occupies the center of the frame, and it feels confrontational. It's when you know that what you're seeing on screen is personal. During the action, the camera stays with Amlet. We are at his speed, he's the center of attention no matter what may be going on in the background. We see how gruesome and ruthless he is. The actors are performing specifically for the camera. Many times they look straight into it, almost as if they are breaking the fourth wall. It uses its ability to show how much ever information it wants to show to create genuine moments of surprise and suspense. The long takes are purposeful and assist the masterful staging of the shots where everything feels planned and controlled in a way that doesn't make it feel unnatural according to the characters. Visually, too, the film is very beautiful. It has this mythic quality to it. A lot of work has gone into the details of the costume and production design to really immerse us into the film's world. When we see Amlet after 20 years, what lets us know that it is the little boy we saw earlier are three things. Firstly, the camera floats through the boat being rowed by many men, but the camera eventually lands on Amlet. Secondly, Amlet was previously seen rowing a boat by himself, so this movement is basically continued, introducing the audience to his elder self. And thirdly, we see that he is wearing the same amulet that he wore as a child. All of these three things are visual indications, and that's what what makes the filmmaking of this film one of the best of the year so far. Now, in the third act of the film, Amrit realizes that Olga is pregnant with their child and puts Amlet in a dilemma. He's forced to make a decision, a tough decision, which was presented to him earlier. He must choose between kindness for his kin or hatred for his enemy. And again, I really can't help but find the parallels between this and the climax of Gangs of Wasipur, where the main character faces the exact same situation. And unfortunately, because Amleth is so focused on his mission, he believes that he is captive to his foreseen fate, even though he has a choice. And one of the main internal conflicts of Amleth is that hate is all that he has ever known, and that he wishes to break free from it. But when provided the choice, he chooses both kindness for his kin as well as hatred for his enemy. And this is not a cheap cop out because he chooses kindness by ending the cyclical nature of violence from poisoning his bloodline by choosing to kill his enemy, knowing how it will end. Amlet wishes to free his family of his fate of violence. He chooses both, but it's effective because he still has to suffer the consequences of his actions. There's intense external and internal conflict between the two powerful men who battle inside a volcano, which was set up in the beginning of the film. And by this point, I had pretty much predicted what was going to happen because I've seen it happen in previous stories. But that doesn't at all make the scene lose any emotional impact. In the end, both Fjolnir and Amlet end up killing each other, but it wasn't completely pointless. Amlet did make some form of internal change. He opened himself up to a new relationship, something he hadn't felt since he was a child, which is why he sees his wife and two children happy together right before he ascends to Valhalla. The Northman is a stone cold masterpiece about generational revenge and how the consequences of the path of vengeance can be tragic. And it's a damn shame that this film flopped at the box office. I really wish the film had been released here in India. What makes me afraid is that filmmakers like Robert Eggers might not be able to make another film at this scale because of its underwhelming financial performance. And I really hope that does not happen because these are the kind of films I want to see more of. A large scale film that never once loses its artistic vision. Truly, truly one of the best movies I've seen all year. Definitely check this one out when you can. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.